Hello, everybody. Show number 30, 30. For those who don't habla, it's the JoJo Show. Hottest topics north of the tropics, globally, nationally, locally. Talking about nationally, Hurricane Dorian just hovering around the eastern seaboard there, going from Florida all the way up until the Carolinas and then out to sea by next Friday. By Friday coming, the storm created havoc. Northern Bahamas made everything just disappear on the islands of the Bahamas. I've been to the Bahamas. Beautiful, beautiful place. But long story short, Godspeed to all the people in Florida and the eastern seaboard, and hope that family in Florida are weathering the storm. The whole state was told to, that side of the state was told to evacuate. Naturally, some aren't evacuating. I wouldn't either. To ride the storm
where
out.
are you going to go? I mean, you got to catch a flight to get off the island, do you not?
Right. Well, I mean, just the eastern seaboard. I mean, you got to go from Jacksonville, Melbourne, Florida, Vero Beach, and all those places like that. You got to get on the interstate. You're not going to head north. You got to have to head west. But anyway, globally, I keep hearing about an asteroid, 100% chance of hitting Earth. They don't know when. It'll wipe out Earth 95%. They don't know when. They've been tracking this thing for years.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is from my own brain. I'm just gonna tell you what I know about this thing.
Okay.
Okay. About over 20 years ago, they had said they found this big old asteroid that could come and cause cataclysmic damages on the trajectory for Earth in the next 30 years. This was 20 years ago.
Right.
Then, like a year from then, or 6 months from then, they came out and they were like, "Oh no, we went out to alarm the public. Don't worry, this is not, a big asteroid. Don't worry, it's not going to get close to us." So, a couple of more months roll by, and here I am, even as a youngster. 20 plus years ago, there I am, up late night watching C-SPAN, and they had a consortium of scientists talking about what they're going to do to destroy this thing. And I said, okay, so if we need not be concerned about it, then why have they assembled this team of people to destroy this thing?
I know why.
So fast forward to now. You were telling me this. I'm just going on what I know just from what I remember.
Yeah.
You were telling me this, and now you're saying that they think this thing is anywhere between 8 to 10 years away?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's that asteroid.
Yeah.
That's that asteroid.
It's going to come below the satellites. The satellites are 35,000 up there. It's going to be anywhere between 19 and 20,000 miles up. It's going to come, it's going to be the closest thing to hit the Earth. But I know the reason why those guys were there 20 years ago trying to think they're going to stop this asteroid. Because they had seen that movie Armageddon with Bruce Willis.
I know. Ha. No, this was actually before that movie.
Oh, okay.
Because, that's what I'm trying to say. This was actually before that movie. So, I didn't even look at anything that he's talking about. All I'm saying is that I remember these guys. I remember when they first found that thing, and then, not even 6 months later, they came out and said, "Oh, it's not that going to be the big of a deal." And then a few months later, like I said, I'm up late one night watching C-SPAN, and I see this going on. So, maybe this is the one.
Yeah, maybe
this is the one. And they were saying, and I've seen little snippets of this thing here and there over the years, over the last couple of decades. And they were saying all the nuclear weapons on the planet couldn't nudge this thing off course. If you put a 17 kiloton bomb or whatever and it hit it direct, it wouldn't hurt it at all.
Wow, that sounds pretty formidable. But anyway, that's what you got to get ready for. 95% total annihilation of the world as we know it. And we're right down here in downtown Denham in the 5% that's going to get hit. So we're kind of lucky. I hope you like the outside studio hookup tonight, but we're
this is our mobile command studio.
Yeah, mobile command, and we're
studio.
trying to get down to some maybe tailgating or some mobile commands, other places to tailgate, and talk about what is the big white elephant in town this week.
Everybody knows what it is.
College football. Can you dig it?
That's it.
Texas versus LSU. LSU versus Texas.
It's a visit from Game
in
Day.
Austin.
Game Day's going to be there. Let's see. You know this. I don't think. When's the last time Game Day has actually been to Texas?
I know. I can't remember. It wasn't. No, that wasn't there. I can't remember. Besides Arlington, besides
No. Yeah, no. I'm talking in Austin at Texas.
Oh,
I can't remember the last time they've been at Texas.
I couldn't tell you. Well, LSU's opening up.
Wait. Texas USC. Back when Vince Young was there.
Maybe.
Or Texas Ohio State, something like that.
Texas Ohio State. I think that's what it was.
But they played when Vince Young when Vince Young won the national championship.
Yeah.
Or the year before they played at Ohio State.
They had to be there then.
They played at Ohio State.
Yeah, they had to be there then.
Either which way.
You're right. But listen, LSU's opening up a 5.5-point favorite. I mean, not opening up. They started out 3, then 4.5 as of today. Then I just heard coming over here on one of the local radio touts on sports shows, it's 5.5. I believe LSU will cover by more than that. Texas doesn't have the offensive line and don't have a good running back crew. They already put some fodder out there that they are the DBU. And
wait, Texas?
Yeah, Texas was wearing DBU shirts prior to the La Tech game the other night, and they got burnt for over 300 yards in the air.
On what grounds?
I don't know. They got a couple of stalwarts back there, but the rest of them are freshmen. They're rotating a lot of people back there in the defensive backfield, especially against La Tech. I mean, they were up La Tech 3 or 4 touchdowns before La Tech could even get in there. So,
hold the phone. Did I not see 4 SEC teams lose this weekend?
Yeah,
to nobody. Well, Memphis actually isn't a nobody. I watched the Memphis game. Memphis is actually a pretty formidable team.
Right.
But you had Arkansas almost they should have lost. I mean, they almost lost. But then you had Tennessee losing at home. Was that team even an FCS team?
They were 2-10 last year.
Yeah. Georgia State. Yeah.
They physically manhandling. I watched that game prior to getting to watch the other game after that.
Missouri lost.
Yes,
too.
Missouri lost.
Kentucky struggled with Toledo, if I'm not mistaken.
Holy Toledo,
and then,
but they finally got them.
Oh, and then Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac.
Yep.
Return of the Mac. Mac Brown is back. Mac Brown is back. Okay, I'm sorry. Look, either South Carolina sucks that bad, or like Mac Brown and the Brown Hills are for real.
Yeah, well, they got Miami this weekend, so +6 for North Carolina. So in North Carolina, though.
The only SEC teams I saw this past weekend that were looking good was LSU and Alabama.
That's it.
And Georgia, you could throw Georgia in that mix, but Florida, who else?
Florida
pretty much. Oh, Auburn. Now, Auburn did come from behind against Oregon, nationally televised, primetime game, but Oregon played right into their hands in the second half.
Right.
They played right into their hands. So, but give Auburn credit, if that was my team, I'd be like, yeah, we were that good, So you got Auburn, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia, and that's pretty much going to be it in the SEC. Those are your top-tier teams. LSU does play Auburn, Alabama, and Florida, but they don't play Georgia mid-season. So that's going to be a plus for them. So, like I said, I really think it's going to be typical LSU. Win one game you're not supposed to win, lose one game you're not supposed to lose. So I still got LSU winning this weekend after what I saw against Georgia Southern. Yeah, Georgia Southern. They could have beat them by 100 points.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. They took the foot off the gas and still scored, 52 or something
55.
like that? 55. So look for LSU to probably put up a bunch of points on Texas too, and that's why I think LSU's going to win this game. It might not even be close.
All right. Well, you can tell where our mindset is. Football in the house, football nationwide. But getting back to some national news, and we're going to get this football story going here shortly. But national news on the way over here, I heard that Walmart has ended sales of guns in some states, or one or two states, and nationwide, Walmart is going to quit selling ammo.
They're just kowtowing, dude. Yeah, so if you that's it. I mean, you buy your Dick, at
That's
Dick's
it.
Sporting Goods or wherever, Academy or whatever, or order it off the
Go
internet.
ahead and load up.
Yeah, order it off the internet. I mean, I don't know, Walmart. Why are you doing that? Why
They
hurt
played
your bottom
right
line?
into the hands
Why-
because of what happened, I guess, at that Walmart.
Why
I don't
hurt
know.
your bottom line? But yeah, here's what I was thinking the other day. So that guy's going on a shooting rampage in the Walmart. Couldn't the people in that place grab some of the guns and shot back?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they had the time, but I mean, if someone else would be carrying legitimately,
Right.
legally, he was stopped by someone
Everybody
else,
knows.
but
Everybody
still.
knows who knows anything knows that any armed society is a safe society. I'm sorry. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, then you're just never going to understand. You
Yeah,
know,
and I mean-
if everybody has a gun, that means the crazy person with a gun is going to get shot real quick. If you have law-abiding, smart, sane citizens carrying guns, that means if you try to pull that BS, somebody going to pull out a gun and shoot you. Game over. You might shoot one person.
Well,
You know. So no, I mean that's why people go and shoot up gun-free zones.
right.
You know, because
There's no-
look, it's a target-rich environment. Nobody's got a gun. At least they're not supposed to have a gun. And so you go in there and you shoot it up, and then blah blah blah. But the last guy who did the shooting a few days ago was a Democrat, a white Democrat at that. So here, let's just add him up onto the list of Democrats.
He had so many red flags on him to
Red
begin
flags, but
with.
that's what I'm saying. But he
he
shouldn't
can't do
have
anything about it yet.
he shouldn't have had any guns in the first place. So you know
Right.
what that means? No law, no
This-
red flag
that's right.
law or convicted felon law. If a criminal wants to get a gun, he's going to get a gun and he's going to use it like he shouldn't use it. So gun laws are not going to work in that particular scenario. Gun laws are just there to strip you from your Second Amendment so the government can ride roughshod over you. We've said this a million times. Everybody who really knows what's going on knows this. But if you don't know what's going on, we're going to tell you again. Any infringement on the Second Amendment is a stripping of your rights to where the government could just ride roughshod over you and everybody could just do whatever they can, order troops just like, what was the thing, back in the Revolutionary War? Order the troops to come to your house, take all your stuff, and then you can't do anything about it. You know why? Because you don't have any guns.
So you can still go other places and outlets to load up, get your God-given right there, constitutional right to bear arms, because once Big Brother gets involved in it and takes it all away from you, they're just going to dwindle you down to nothing. Another thing that I saw and read and heard, and this may be affecting us here pretty soon, YouTube has removed 17,000 channels, 100,000 videos, 500 million comments breaking down on hate speech since June. They're trying to rid their forum, their outlet, their media of white supremacy and conspiracy theory thoughts. And don't know if that's going to affect us, and they're trying to wean it and clean it. After all this, they put all the other garbage on YouTube, and now they're out here signaling out everybody. Now it's just to say hate speech, which hate speech, well, the white supremacists, I guess they're doing it. I don't go to any white supremacist sites. I think that's all a bunch of malarkey. Everybody's a white supremacist, so to speak. If you wear a red hat, if you talk conspiracy, if you talk this and that. So I think that's just trying to infringe again on free speech.
No, dude. It's just they don't want anybody going against the official narrative. That's all it is.
That's
You
it.
better not be thinking, boy.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. No, don't go against the official narrative. That's YouTube's stance. That's Google's stance.
Yep.
Do not go against the official narrative. If you are, you're crazy and you need to be removed. That's it. That's all it is. Let's move on before I get really into it.
Okay, that's fine, because we got a lot to cover and a short time to do it. But listen, let me tell you something about this phone. I have a Android phone. I went
Which
to,
is owned by Google. The Android operating system is managed and controlled and invented by Google.
okay, so I went to give blood for my diabetes workup, blood work this morning at the doctor's office. So when I get home, I'm searching through my phone while I'm eating my lunch, and then it says blood donors needed. I go to the official blood bank, this and that, all about doing blood related to blood, because I was in a place where I was giving blood. How can that be? How did they know that my morning was about blood?
Your phone is listening to you, and it's scanning keywords, and it hears those keywords, and then it sends the advertisements to your phone to where you could see it. So your phone is listening to you. That's right. Your phone is listening to you.
And the TV too.
And the TV too. I'm this close. I'm not that it's going to do any good, but I'm this close to going back to regular talking text and not a smartphone.
Okay.
I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that.
I'm not the only one there.
No,
John
you're not
Q.
the only one.
Public
It's
and
going.
those listening. I mean,
It's happening to
comment
everybody.
below or let us know some kind of way if that happens to you. And I know it's happening to you. I'm not naive enough to think that. All right. But anyway, those are global things going on. The hurricane on the eastern seaboard is the big news down this way. College football, again, takes precedent in our lives. We don't hunt. We don't fish. We're always hunting and fishing for a national championship,
Yeah,
the blood that we bleed.
Yeah, I could buy meat and fish at the store. What do I need to go hunting for?
Well, there you
if
go.
you see me with a rifle in my hand, you better run.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, let's get back, I guess, to football. I got some spreads.
Hold up. Wait. So let's look at the TV slate.
Yeah, let's look at
the games
the
you
slate.
probably should be watching, okay? Cincinnati at Ohio State, 11 a.m. ABC. This could be actually a good game. I saw Cincinnati would look pretty decent.
Cincinnati plus 17.
This is a rivalry game between the boys
Battle
from
of
Ohio.
Ohio,
Yeah,
right.
well, I ain't gonna say that, but
Yeah.
it's a rivalry between the boys from Ohio. These kids probably played each other in Pop Warner in junior high and high school, and you figure it out. Also, they have Rutgers at Iowa. Iowa will probably run right through them. Syracuse at Maryland. This might be of some interest. It's on ESPN. These are all the 11 o'clock games now. So
2.5, Maryland.
Wait.
plus
Maryland
2.5.
plus 2.5?
Yeah.
All right. So look, West Virginia at Missouri, 11 a.m. ESPN2. I'm taking West Virginia all day long. Missouri look like complete doo-doo. They got beat by a way lesser team. Missouri, out the vaunted SEC, will lose 2 straight against West Virginia. Prove me wrong.
Well, I'll take that because that's West Virginia plus 14.5 as of today.
All right. Utah, Northern Illinois is at Utah, 12 p.m. on the Pac-12 network. You have to have the cable channel. So here's what I don't understand. Where's the ACC network?
I don't know.
I thought it was-
I think you have to order it.
I know, but I was even looking for it on channels that I don't have, and they didn't even have it. It was like Big Ten Network and Pac-12 Network. They didn't have it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Is it only on like a certain provider, like a DirecTV or something?
Yeah, I think
don't
you have to
understand
go
it.
through ACC. I never see it. Now, I have DirecTV. I don't see it on my list of games. I don't see it, and they don't. You scroll all the way through the games and everything like that, like you do MLB Network. You see Big Ten games. You don't see Pac-12 games. You see a bunch of SEC games, but you don't see any ACC in what I think that's what
But
they're
I
calling
thought
it.
they were going to have their own network like the SEC network, and everybody gets it.
Well,
That's what I was understanding.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It may not be down here because all
Why
we have
wouldn't
is SEC.
No,
network.
I know, but why wouldn't it? If ESPN has a deal with the ACC network now, then why wouldn't it be like an SEC network where it's nationally televised every game?
I don't know. If someone knows that answer, let us know because it's baffled me the same thing.
All right, so
What else
look,
you got?
moving on. Here it is, 2:30 on Fox. Don't be late. Nebraska at Colorado.
There you go.
Who you got? Wait, what is going on? What's the line?
Colorado plus 4.5.
Ooh, Colorado plus 4.5. Nebraska at Colorado.
Yeah.
Colorado plus 4.5. Are you reading that right?
It opened up at 7.5. Now it's down to 4.5.
Dude, wait. I guess, is that receiver going to play? Dude, I'd take Colorado all day long. You got to see if that, what's his name?
Buffy.
No,
Yeah.
the receiver.
Oh, the receiver.
Buffy. The receiver, that little number 2 or something.
I can't think of his name, naturally.
Okay, if that guy's hurt, then yeah, I could see why. But if that guy's going to play, dude, Colorado, forget it. Forget it. Colorado's going to, they wiped the field with Colorado State last week.
At Colorado. Nebraska, I mean, they did what they had to do the other day against South Alabama. Come on, South Alabama, they fumbled, stumbled. I mean, I think Nebraska scored 3 touchdowns via interception, punt return, a fumble in the end zone.
Were they not tied up at one point?
Yeah.
In the third quarter or something?
Well, they were behind at one point.
Yeah, they were behind. Okay,
Yeah,
so
early.
Moving on, Lily, looking at you. Texas A&M at Clemson, 2:30 ABC. I come on, prove me wrong, Texas A&M. Prove me wrong, but I'm gonna take Clemson.
Yeah.
What is the line? What does the line
17.5 plus A&M.
What?
Yeah. I mean, Jimbo's came out of the ACC. Come on, let's face it. And that's all he's going to muster up is 17.5. It started out at 20. Yeah, it's going to drop as the week goes on. But that's 17.5 at Clemson. That tells you something. Clemson's going to jump on them. They say Clemson was just going through the motions the other day. But still.
Wow.
You know.
All right, so Murray State at Georgia, ESPN 2. New Mexico State at Alabama at 3. SEC Network,
54.
I'm sorry. No, nobody's going to watch those games. And if you do watch those games, shame on you. There's other better games on at that particular time. So, moving on to the night games. Oh, BYU at Tennessee. That's right. I'm picking Tennessee to lose again. I think BYU will come in, smack them in the face. Tennessee's not going to know what to do. Tennessee's going to go to 0-2.
Well, it opened up at 2.
Wait, what's the line? What's the line?
-2. Now it's up to 3.5.
Yeah.
So it looks like Tennessee might muster something, but I'd have to take them points.
All right. South Dakota at Oklahoma. Everybody watched Jalen Hurts score 6 touchdowns. It's been the talk of the ESPN and Fox Sports, and everybody's talking about it. Saban even chimed in, look for Jalen to score probably 3 or 4 and be pulled at halftime, and Tanner Mordecai take over, and Oklahoma probably cruise to a decent victory at South Dakota. Okay, so Arkansas at Ole Miss, SEC Network, nobody cares. 6:30, the big one, LSU at Texas. I told you back in July that I had this game pegged out already. I'm sticking with what I saw this past weekend. Yeah, Texas good. They cover the spread. And LSU's good too. I think LSU goes out there and beats Texas by double digits.
Wow, and I feel the same way. But let me, LSU did great against Georgia Southern. They went out there with that RPO. It was clicking. It's something that we haven't seen around here in years. I mean, just slinging the ball, people open. Even though it's Georgia Southern, then you still have to go out there and play. I think LSU's defense, Dave Arana's defense, will be too much for Texas. Ellinger's the real deal. He's like a tiny Tebow to me. Well, he ain't tiny. He's 6'3", 235. He can get it done, but they're decimated at running back position, and I don't know if he'll run as many times as Jalen Hurts did the other night, but, I mean, I don't know if that was designed either on Oklahoma's part. It just worked out that way. But bottom line is, Ellinger's the real deal. I mean, as far as I know, he'll have Charles Johnson, a big receiver. He's got a couple other receivers, but they're decimated at running back, so that's going to put pressure on him. How the LSU's front line reacts to the situation and trying to contain Ellinger, he hasn't really been contained, even though they played Georgia, and Georgia wasn't really into it. They jumped on Georgia real quick. It's a bowl game. You didn't get into the big enchilada because you Kirby not so smart, blew it against Alabama. But bottom line is Texas is for real in some aspects. They're young in the defensive secondary. They got a good D-line that does work. And this is all fodder and all information that I've gathered over the past couple of days because it is the biggest game of the season. This game, LSU and Texas in Austin, Saturday night, 6:30, about 100-degree heat. The index on the field is going to be hotter. That this game is going to be a make-or-breaker for the team that loses or the team that wins. So I'm looking for LSU. Double digits might be a stretch. LSU's kicking game was off the charts again. They got a real good kicker again. I can't think of his name. But bottom line is LSU, all their phases look good. I think that LSU's running game will have to complement Burrow and his throwing out of the RPO offense and on the run. I see Burrow probably running a few more times this time. But, it may be double digits, but it's 5.5, so that tells you something. A couple of field goals here and there. I heard one pundit on the radio when I was coming over here say Texas 26, LSU 24.
Okay, moving along. Nevada at Oregon on the Pac-12 network. Oregon bounces back, gets the win. Tulane at Auburn. Auburn makes it look really good on ESPN2. Tulane at Auburn. I look for Auburn to win that game.
Let me see what that spread is. Hold on.
What spread?
Auburn and Tulane.
Yeah, you might have to talk in the mic.
I know. 19. Tulane plus 19. They say this Tulane team this year is about one of the best teams they've had in a couple of years. So all I'm saying is they'll need more than 19. But listen, Auburn played their hearts out the other night with a freshman quarterback. I think Auburn may be on the rebound, saving Gus's job. But I think that, Auburn, Alabama, Auburn, LSU is going to be the games of the SEC West. And you talked about the East earlier, how they won, how they lost, this, that, and the other. I mean, you're looking at Georgia. Maybe Florida can hang with them this year. I would hope Florida could beat. I just don't like Georgia. I don't think they're overrated. I just think they're overranked. And it's still early. That's what I want to tell you. We're not going to talk about Heisman hopefuls and the Heisman race on this thing. That is irrelevant. That's an award thing. And we're not going to talk about the rankings. Who's number one this week? Who's number two? The power rankings, this and that. It really doesn't mean much till they get the CFP going on. Once you get the CFP going on, and then you got something to think about in November or whenever they come out. But, the rankings, how can you say somebody's ranked higher, this and that? It's all the prestige. It's all what goes out. And if you're ranked in that rarefied air situation, like what I've talked about, the top 6 or maybe even the top 10 nowadays, at least, you're going to have to play like you've been there. You're going to have to play like you need to be ranked, and you're fighting to get everything in there CFP. One loss will hurt you. So, I think LSU gets it done this weekend. In fact, I know they get it done this weekend.
Miami at North Carolina. You got Manny Diaz going against Mac Brown. I'm pulling for Mac Brown. I'm telling you, I want North Carolina to do it. Not saying that they are. Don't really know much about that game. I think it's a toss-up. Do you have a line for me?
6. I'd already said, North Carolina plus 6.
North Carolina plus 6. Miami at North Carolina. North Carolina covered at home last week. They're going to cover at home this week. I'm taking them.
Yeah.
Cal at Washington. You got something?
Yeah. Cal plus 13.5.
FS1 at 9:30. Cal plus 13.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know how it is up there at that stadium where it's all shaking and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I guess if I was a gambling man, I wouldn't fool with that game.
Right.
Minnesota at Fresno State. Fresno State looked pretty decent last week. That's Minnesota traveling to the West. What is the line on that, if you have it?
Let me see. I had it earlier, but Minnesota. That's not okay. Minnesota minus 3.
All right, Minnesota minus 3. So Fresno State is getting plus 3 at home, yeah, I might have to look at that a little closer and say, hey, well, Fresno State could probably cover 3 at home.
Listen, while I can, you got it in your hand there. Mississippi State struggled against ULL. ULL had more turnovers than they had touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, and that was in New Orleans. I would get like a home game for both teams. I mean, you traveled from Starkville to New Orleans. That was nothing. But ULL, the Raging Cajuns, or you want to call them Louisiana Raging Cajuns, that's what they call themselves, played a pretty good game. And, that's my old school. I'm not alumni. I didn't graduate from there. But, I mean, that was my old school, and it's always good to see those guys do good. They had a good coach a couple of years ago, but he tanked out, and now he's somewhere else.
All right. Stanford at USC, 9:30 p.m. ESPN. I'm going to have to roll with Stanford. USC doesn't have their quarterback. You got a line?
Stanford plus 3.5. It hasn't
Stanford
moved.
plus 3.5. I'd take Stanford all day long. The good defense, very good defense, very conservative, very offense to where they don't turn the ball over. I think USC without their quarterback is going to have trouble doing anything. And Stanford at USC, I'd have to take Stanford.
Well, the LSU line, it's just 2 days into it. The LSU line opened up at 3. -3. Now it's at 4.5. I'd like to see maybe Thursday what the line is. If it gave more to Texas, or it kind of evened out and got back down to what I thought earlier in the season, before the season started, was going to be a 3-point victory. Texas has Dicker the kicker, and then LSU has their new kicker, and he was right on the other night, and he made 7 extra points. So I mean that's pretty crucial. And the Sooners, Oklahoma missed 2 field goals. One was a chip shot, and one was the longest one of his career, so to speak. And it had the distance. It was just to the right or left.
He hit it at the right angle each time.
Yeah, and he's pushing it. I mean, and it's going to happen. But those are the real intangibles that are going to help you down the stretch if you can make those field goals, or if you can. But getting back to LSU and Texas, which, again, is the big elephant, the big story out here in the atmosphere, what can I say? I really believe this is LSU's year, and that's why I had the Bama chain on last week. They get past Texas, that's their stiffest test. I mean, they have everybody here at home, so to speak, but I mean, then you got the big one, and it's always the big one. And I told you before the season started, LSU goes undefeated because they're undefeated till they get to play Alabama, but they're not going to match up to a quarterback, I think, in the SEC like they're going to match up to this weekend. It's going to be real interesting to see how Dave Aranda is going to be able to contain this kid, because he's a winner and he's going to win. And he said they were back against Georgia. That's great.
All right.
But he's a winner, and he'll get it done. If LSU can contain him, I think we're okay.
Okay. LSU, they're going to beat Texas.
Great.
But they will lose one of those games, either to Florida or Auburn. Mark my words. They will lose one of those games. They're going to come back. They're going to be all fired up. The mistakes we made, and they'll beat Alabama onto the SEC championship. And they could potentially probably lose the SEC championship.
Yeah, well.
Win or lose the SEC. A lot of things have to transpire in there.
Well,
things can happen. Georgia could lose a game or two themselves.
Yeah.
Alabama could lose a game or two themselves. Who knows?
Right.
Texas A&M, they might get all the way to the end of the season undefeated and lose to Texas A&M. Who knows, dude? Who knows? Listen, it's September. Watch the games. Watch them closely. Don't get all sloshed. And watch. Just
remember that play.
Yeah, no, just watch the games. And watch other games, too. If you're an LSU fan watching this show, I know darn good and well all you do is watch LSU. You go and you do your day, and you might have the football on a little bit, but you're not watching the games.
From 11 to 11, but the thing of it is.
The games.
That's it. But listen, just like Little Joe said, Burrow, what if he goes down? Then we're left with Miles Brennan. The Sooners, Jalen Hurts carried 16 times. Come on, man. That's a lot, even though he gained 180 yards. I mean, that's a lot of times to carry the ball. Some of those plays weren't set up in the offense. He goes down. Okay, then you got backup quarterbacks. The whole The whole situation, the whole atmosphere, the whole look, general makeup of your team changes. So you have to protect those quarterbacks the best as possible. If Fromm goes down for Georgia, all those other quarterbacks have done left and went elsewhere. Did you see how many Georgia quarterbacks did?
It was like two of them. It was like two of them.
Yeah, and I mean,
the
Jacob Eason at Washington.
Yeah.
And
dude's at Ohio State. What's his name? You got Bryant.
Fields.
You got Bryant from Clemson
Yeah.
at Missouri.
Right.
And
right.
then Fields
right.
at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Somebody's at Ohio State from Georgia.
Yeah.
But, that's how it is. That's the carousel, I guarantee if Spencer Rattler doesn't play at OU within the next year or so, he's going to leave.
Right, and they put that substitute quarterback in there for the Sooners, a second stringer, and he made a few plays.
Mordecai.
Tanner Mordecai out of Waco.
Who is that running back that broke it in? He fumbled earlier, but then they put him back in there, and he broke that big run.
Stevenson. He was the JUCO transfer. But listen, talk about going down on hot seats. I can't even say it, just
Will
a chump.
Muschamp.
Anyway, he, he's on the hot seat. We all knew that. And Willie Taggart, I heard the soundbite today out of Florida State. They had Boise State in the second half by 21 points or 17.
Yeah,
he said that they were generally fatigued and dehydration was the factor at Florida State. So you figure dehydration means they got too many 40s or whatever. What is the drinks that everybody drinks? They drank too much on Friday night if you got dehydration problems.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say that Taggart will be fired before the season ends if he loses 3-4 more games. They'll buy him out. This is his second year. They'll fire him and then just buy him out his last year.
Yeah.
And that'll be that. And then the Florida State job will be open.
Well, USC, the same thing with Clay Helton. I mean, they're in trouble.
Right. These programs are used to winning and winning big, and they're not going to settle for less. The monster's done been created. There's too many. They can't. If you got a 90, 80,000 seat stadium and they're not selling out the stadium, the powers that be in those realms see that's money lost. And revenue lost, and you're not going to the dance, and yada yada yada. And we can get the kids and all this stuff, and they will be gone. Clay Helton, and what's his name? It's Clay Helton, right?
Right, at USC.
And Taggart will be at Florida State. Will be gone.
Yep. I mean, it just goes to show. He said it in a nutshell. They got to win. They got to produce. I think we better get to the shout-outs because we could go all night here. Throw money. Throw money.
Yeah, let's go.
Todd Rundgren. Anyway, the Florida hurricane situation, family, all the people in Florida, Godspeed to you. Evacuate if you need. Batten down the hatches. You've been there before. Kane Taylor, Chicago Kane, now in Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City Art Institute, said it's awesome. He had his best first week there. Really enjoyed it. We love you, KT. The Nola family, the Sellers family, the Wagasback family from this area, having 3 offspring, 3 siblings, 3 kinfolk in Major League Baseball. Wagasback at Toronto pitcher, the other Nola boy, Seattle first baseman, and Aaron Nola at Philadelphia. Little guy, Big Texas, 3-0 with the Victoria Titans. Pee Wee Football League. They've been scored on once, 7 points. Shout out to them and the Titans. And then again, all the family, the demographic. Don't forget we're here. Please comment on the bottom. We may have to do another show because this is Tuesday night. We may have to get one going maybe Tuesday or Friday just to keep everybody abreast of anything changes. But other than that, be safe, be careful out there, you little ones. Make sure you drink all your milk and say your prayers. Say extra prayers for this crazy world out there. You never know. What do you got, Little Joe?
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody, if you're watching the show, thank you very much. And a heartfelt from the Joe and Joe Show wants you to know that there is no sun shining in the Men's John.
That's it. That's it.
We'll see you next week. We'll see you soon.
Peace. Love y'all.